There's no doubt in my mind that Las Vegas, the city I love and live in, is the entertainment capital of the world. It is also one of the best destinations, one of the best and biggest gaming floors, with mega concerts and conventions, all nestled in the best resorts in the globe. And these are just some of the biggest reasons why Vegas is the global brand. Welcome to Vegas Vibes, giving you a peek at what's grooving and brewing in the music, pageantry, and live production scenes in the city that never sleeps. And I'm your host, Esmeralda Padilla-Gould. Some cool and exciting news when we get back, so stay there.
Jingles are the way of life to sell everything from clothes, products, and houses. Jinglicious has been there for many corporate companies to bring them the customers they need to thrive big all year round. Jinglicious can create unique sound designs, jingles, and custom songs. Mention this video commercial and get any of our services for only $500 each, a savings of thousands of dollars. We want to invite new clients to Jinglicious to make their dreams or business succeed with Jinglicious. Call us now at 702-302-9212. That's 702-302-9212. Or visit our website at www.jinglicious.com. Jinglicious. Our jingles are ready when you are.
Jinglicious. Thanks for keeping me company. Lady Gaga, Celine Dion, and Paul McCartney in Las Vegas on the same month? Wow, that's a huge moneymaker for Las Vegas. No wonder it's the entertainment capital of the world. The forever enigmatic Lady Gaga will be performing at the Park Theater of MGM Park Resort starting June 1st. Grammy Award, Golden Globe, and Academy Award winner Lady Gaga is a one-of-a-kind artist and performer. She has amassed an outstanding 33 million global album sales and 229 million in song consumption, making her one of the best-selling musicians of all time. Gaga is also one of the biggest living forces in social media, with over 60 million likes on Facebook, over 77 million followers on Twitter, and over 31 million followers on Instagram. Gaga most recently starred alongside Bradley Cooper in the Warner Brothers remake of the classic film A Star is Born, released October 2018. Her song Shallow, that she co-wrote and performed for the film, has also received a 2019 Golden Globe Award and a string of 2019 Grammys, including Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Best Pop Duo, Group Performance, and Best Song Written for Visual Media. She'll be in Vegas for a while, so grab your tickets while you can. International superstar Celine Dion has announced recently that more than 15 years after the premiere of her first critically acclaimed Las Vegas residency, her second production, Celine, at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace, will come to an end on June 8, 2019. Don't miss out as she takes the stage for a powerful set featuring all her greatest hits and surprising covers, ranging from Journey to Janis Ian. Celine Dion's Coliseum show is once more the talk of Las Vegas entertainment aficionados. The Las Vegas Review-Journal called it the show of shows. Newsweek called her show at Caesars Palace Las Vegas' biggest act since Elvis. Before her debut at Caesars Palace, Celine Dion won 5 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year and Best Pop Album for Falling Into You, and Record of the Year and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for My Heart Will Go On. Her recordings have won 2 Academy Awards, Best Original Song in 1992 for the title song of Beauty and the Beast with Peabo Bryson, and in 1998 for My Heart Will Go On from Titanic. She has earned 7 American Music Awards, 20 Junior Awards in Canada, and an astonishing 40 Felix Awards in Quebec. If you haven't seen Celine Dion live in Vegas, this is your last chance. And finally, one of the biggest stars ever in the history of mankind is Paul McCartney of the legendary band Beatles, and now with Wings. Sir Paul McCartney will be performing live at the T-Mobile Arena on the 28th and 29th of June. The Paul McCartney live experience is everything any music lover could ever want for a show. Nearly 3 hours nightly of the greatest moments from the last 50 years of music. dozens of songs from Paul's solo, Wings, and of course, Beatles catalogs that have formed the soundtracks of our lives. Paul and his band have played an unparalleled range of venues and locations throughout the Americas, the UK, Europe, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and all points between. Outside the Colosseum in Rome, Moscow's Red Square, Buckingham Palace, the White House, a free show in Mexico for over 400,000 people, the last ever show at San Francisco's Candlestick Park where the Beatles played their final concert in 1966. The Freshen Up Tour is Paul's first outing following the release of his #1 charting album, Egypt Station, released September 7th on Capitol Records. Rolling Stone raved, Maka keeps adding new gems to his songbook, with nothing to prove except he's the only genius who can do this. And oh yeah, in his spare time, he happens to still be the greatest live performer on earth. While Entertainment Weekly described the album as the still vital life force of a superstar who has been there and everywhere and is glad just to be there now. So guys, this is just one great concert you'll never want to miss. When we come back, I'll be interviewing an entertainer and magician rolled into one, so be sure to stay with me.
We use headphones as a part of our everyday lives. Whether we're at work, getting exercise, meditating, in transit, studying, practicing, or relaxing.
Hi, I'm Ryan Sway, the founder of Aircom. I would like to introduce the world's first wireless airflow audio earbuds. As a festival and a concert junkie, I really enjoy the live experience of being there and feeling the music. When we started developing Airflow, our goal was to reproduce that live experience using earbuds.
The problem with traditional headphones is that the speakers are located inside of the earpiece, literally giving you centimeters before the audio hits your eardrum.
What Aircom is doing, they're the first company to actually address the fact that there needs to be a space involved associated with having the sound waves expand fully.
The difference between traditional headphones and Aircom audio is that the air tube gives you 8 times more space, allowing the sound waves to fully develop before they actually hit your eardrums. And this gives it a much more live, natural sound, just like in a recording studio.
It's real nice that someone actually addressed the physics associated with how sound comes out.
The challenge we had was to create an earbud with enough airspace for the sound to fully develop and breathe. Unfortunately, traditional earbuds are about the size of a jelly bean, and there's just not enough airspace. However, that changed when we developed Airflow Audio. Airflow uses an air tube to deliver 6 to 8 times more airspace than traditional earbuds. The end result is a true live listening experience, just like you're at a festival or a concert. We also added magnets to the back of the earpieces so you can wear it around your neck when you're not using them.
Being that the drivers are 8 inches from the earpiece, the magnets do not affect the integrity of the sound at all.
The orange line represents the frequency transmitting through the wire to the speaker, which then converts to the blue sound wave that develops more as it travels up the air tube, producing a balanced, full body and live listening experience.
Another really cool feature is that these earbuds are sweat-proof and water-resistant because they're coated with a super hydrophobic nanotechnology. So now you can be on a skateboard or riding a motorcycle and listen to music as if you were watching a live show or actually in a recording studio.
We're coming to you for help in bringing these unparalleled earbuds to market.
Welcome to Vegas Vibes, and here with us today is a master magician and illusionist, an actor, celebrity, and entertainer from Hollywood, California. Please help me welcome Raushan Hammond. How are you?
I'm doing
Sean?
great. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Finally, we got this interview.
I know, huh? It's been a while. Been working on it.
Yes. But please tell us your humble beginnings. Where were you born?
Oh, yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up, I was originally born in Hollywood, California. My dad was in a band called the Drifters, and they were really like famous oldies group. and they had a show at a couple of the casinos here in Las Vegas. So by the time I was about 6 or 7 months old, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, my mom and my older brothers and I would get on an airplane and we'd come out here to Las Vegas to see his show and sit in the audience. And I guess it just kind of overtook me. I wanted to get into entertainment too. So by the time I was about 3 years old, my dad's manager, I believe his name was Freddie Boom Boom Cannon.
Oh, what an interesting name.
Yes. He was also the very famous Jay Leno. That was his manager as well. And one particular night, my mom dressed me up as Michael Jackson, and she took me into the showroom to watch my dad's show. And I just started moonwalking and doing a bunch of little moves. And Freddie Boom Boom Cannon saw me.
At 3 years old.
At 3 years old. And then I begged my dad to let me go on stage. And my dad said, oh, no, no, no. I said, please. So I wound up bugging my dad for like 2 weeks. And he finally put me on stage. I'll never forget. I'm 3 years old. I don't know how I still remember this. I'm at Bally's Hotel and Casino. Back in those days, they called it Bally's Grand. And the curtain opens, and the opening of the show, the band starts. I didn't realize there was the band behind me. And I see all these people cheering and all these spotlights. And my dad is off stage, and he starts yelling at me, go, do your act. So I just started doing my whole Michael Jackson routine, and the audience went crazy.
Loved it.
And it kind of frightened me just to hear that huge noise from 1,000 people out there. And right after that, the manager signed me and took me back to LA and had me sign up with a couple different talent agencies. Then it just kind of took off from there.
And from that experience, you knew performing
right
arts
then.
is your passion.
Yeah, I knew right then and there. I said, I either want to be a dancer or an actor, but I really loved acting. I loved watching, TV and seeing the big stars, the Robin Williams, the Denzel Washington. Loved watching all of them on TV, and I said, that's got to be me one day.
And your father is
Clay Hammond.
Clay Hammond.
Yeah.
Who is well-known R&B and soul singer and songwriter who was with the group Drifters, as you mentioned.
Drifters. A couple other groups as well, like a famous song called Papa Oom Mau Mau, if you remember that. Papa, 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 Papa Oom Mau Mau. That was a group called the Rivingtons that he was also with off and on for over 20 years. So, they had a ton of hits.
So, can one say that your father was your biggest influence?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
How did he influence you?
Just from seeing him, my other brothers, they weren't really into entertainment, but I loved going to see my dad's shows. I traveled with my dad. We'd go to Paris, we'd go to Italy, and he'd let me set up the microphones, help him do the sound check, get everything together, let me kind of work with the band and arrange all the music, and it just kind of worked out. It just made me, feel really good, and he was there to kind of motivate me with my acting.
What a perfect mentor
routine.
for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I also have to give it up to my mom, who was like my manager as well. She was the one that took me while my dad was touring, took me to all of my auditions, and got my wardrobe together and helped me go through my scripts and take me to all my acting classes.
Oh, wow, you're so lucky. You have a very supportive and
definitely was
awesome
fun.
mother.
That's fun, and that's why I guess I had the bug all these years. Still doing it to this day.
And of course, you landed the role of Thud Butt, who
Yeah,
turns
Thud
into
Butt.
Peter Pan, in Steven Spielberg's movie Hook. Please tell us that experience of yours.
Oh wow! I think I was 8 years old, and Steven Spielberg was doing the movie Hook, and I had no idea. I had just gotten off from school at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and my mom and dad said, hey, you have to get ready and go over to this thing. It's called something about Peter Pan. So I went to the audition, and I did my little script. It was just cold reading. I'd never gotten a chance to look over the script. And maybe 5 minutes in, the producer said, you're great for this role, but in this part, you're going to be about 200 feet up in a giant tree in a treehouse. How do you feel about that? And I said, 200 feet up in the air? And they said, yeah. I said, I can't do that. And they said, no, really, if you want this role. I said, I can't do that. I'm afraid of heights. They said,
So what convinced you to do
well,
it
no,
anyway?
they said no. So they told me, they said, thank you so much for coming in. So I was like, oh, I didn't get the part. I can't do it. So I left. I was really bummed out. And maybe another year went by.
Oh.
After another year went by, same thing. My parents picked me up from school, and my dad says, hey, they're doing some movie. It's called Hook. I don't know what it's about. We had no idea that it was the same Peter Pan thing. And my dad says, Steven Spielberg needs someone at his office. And I'm like, Steven Spielberg, sure. So my dad rushes me over to TriStar Studios, which is now Sony Pictures out there in Century City, California. We get there, go into a little studio. And as we go into this little studio, I kind of look around and I see this guy come by in his like tuxedo. And he goes, ah, ooh, ah, and he jumps on the ground and tumbles. And I stop and I go, that looked like Robin Williams from Mork and Mindy.
And sure enough, it was Robin
It was
Williams.
him. But I didn't know. Nobody said anything. It was just really low-key and laid back. So a casting director comes in and says, hi, you're Raushan? I said, yeah. He says, wait here. So I'm just kind of waiting there. He goes in a side door and opens a side door, and here in walks two little kids that look just like me pretty much, right? And they kind of walk over, and we're all dressed the same, and I'm kind of like, okay, I don't know these kids. And then the casting guy says, okay, we're gonna do something a little different. I want you kids right now to just play. We have a little basketball court over there, just play. So I go and grab a basketball and just start playing with the kids. And then next thing I know, Steven Spielberg walks in. I was a huge Steven Spielberg fan, but none of the kids knew who he was. So he walks in and he says, stop. And myself and the other two kids just stop like this. And Steven Spielberg comes up and he says, which one of you kids has stars in your eyes? And the other kids kind of had this look on their face, and he goes up to them, and then Steven Spielberg stops
Looking
and
for a sparkle.
Yeah, and he
in your
looks
eyes.
at me, and the minute he looks at me, I just go.
That was the sparkle he was looking for.
And then he goes, so you're, and he goes to grab my wrist, and the casting director says, no, stop. And then he literally pushes Steven Spielberg back, and like two other guys come in and they tell Steven, we have to go, you have to get back to filming. And he goes, okay. So the casting director says, okay, kids, thanks for coming in. We'll let you know if you get the part. And so we're like, that was really odd. So, you know, I'm 9 years old. We leave, and about 30 minutes later, back before there was any, you know, cell phones, my mom's pager goes off, and it's the talent agency, and we contact the talent agency. She had to pull over and go to the payphone booth, and they said, hey, he just got the part for Steven Spielberg's Hook movie, and we still didn't know what I was doing. They said, you're gonna work for about a day. And I went the very next day, I think it was like a Saturday. They put my costume on me. Still didn't know what the movie or anything was about. And then I showed up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and never worked. I just sat in a room like this, just
Really?
watching TV. And finally, I think on Thursday when I got there, they told me, they said, this is your last day. You're gonna finally do your scene. And I said, what's that? They said, your scene is gonna be, you're gonna get in a barrel. We're gonna put you in a barrel, a real wooden barrel. We're gonna put a helmet, and on top of the helmet, we're gonna glue the lid of the barrel. And we're gonna have a little mini bomb gizmo inside that will explode the barrel open. So I'm like thinking they're playing with me. So they have me get over and they shove me in this little barrel, and I'm 9 years old, and they put the helmet, and I'm like, you know, I'm a really heavy set little kid, and I'm in there like this, and I just hear action, and they take the barrel and roll it.
Oh my
And the
God.
barrel hits Robin Williams in the scene, and the barrel explodes open. And Steven Spielberg and everybody, they've got all these big cameras, and they're pointing it at me. And I'm just dazed and confused. And everybody looks around, and Steven Spielberg says, well, aren't you going to say your line? And I said, a line? What's that? What was my line? They're like, cut, he didn't read the script?
You didn't get the memo.
Yeah, I'm like, I was just sitting in the room for 3 days and nobody, told me nothing.
But
so
anyway,
we did it again.
You ended up doing the movie.
And and it worked out. It worked out. And after I did that my first and last day, Steven Spielberg came back up to me and he said, you know what? I'm going to make you a star and people will remember you in this role for the rest of your life. He goes, how do you feel about coming back here every day for like the next year? And I said, sure.
Amazing.
And we wound up filming that movie for a very, very long time. Until I was like 10 years old. And then it was finally done and released.
Wow. Sounds so much fun.
A lot of work, but it was fun.
Yes.
Changed my life.
Of course, it was a life-changing experience. But I'm curious, how did you get yourself into magic?
I was always into magic like most kids. I would always get little magic tricks. And I believe when I was doing Hook, I would drive through Hollywood to get to the set sometimes. There was a little magic shop there. So I begged my dad one day, could you stop at the magic shop? And he's like, yeah, no. I said, please. So he finally stopped at the magic shop. I went in and saw a couple magic tricks. And the magician pulled out like 2 handkerchiefs. And he did a little magic trick on me. And it changed my life. I just thought that was amazing too. I said, oh my gosh. So I winded up going in there just to have some fun, and I left with literally a bag of tricks. And I actually brought this is pretty neat. I brought a magic trick that I kind of learned when I was only about 9 years old. I'll never forget, the magician did this. This is really amazing. You take 2 handkerchiefs, you tie them in a little knot.
Yes.
And this is just phenomenal. Would you pull on that end?
Okay.
And would you pull on that end as well?
Wow. Pretty tight.
Does that look like a knot?
It is.
It really does look like a knot? I got bad news for you. No, it's not.
It's not?
It's not a knot.
It's not a knot. Okay.
It gets a little confusing. I could keep the joke going. But it's one of my favorite little magic tricks. I'm going to fold this knot over. You're going to take it just like that. And just kind of hold it to yourself just like that. Don't drop it. I'm going to just use a little magic here. And I'm going to literally give a little tug and a little pull. And the knot will melt away. And you will be left holding just one handkerchief underneath your thumb, and I will be holding the other. So don't move. I'm just going to give a little yank. On the count of 3, say go. On the count of 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Go. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're family-oriented network here on ACTV. But okay. Yeah, it's not my color either.
Oh, okay. No, I think it was one of the guys on the side.
Right.
We are in Las Vegas.
Not my size, definitely.
But yeah, I learned a couple of magic tricks that day, and I just kind of did it in between from doing acting and being on a bunch of different TV shows. When I was 12 or 13, I was cast on the first season of ER with George Clooney. And at that exact same time, I got accepted into the Magic Castles Junior program.
You went to the school
where they would teach, where they would
Yeah.
teach kids magic and help kind of train you and put you in the right direction. So, I had a blast, and I've literally been doing magic ever since as well. And I still do it nightly here in Las Vegas.
Sean, where can our viewers find you?
Oh, they can they can find me online. Just type in my name. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Raushan Hammond. Or if you can't spell my name, just look up the movie Hook and look for Thud Butt.
Sean, it's such a pleasure having you in Vegas Vibes. I wish we have more time, but for my final question, I would like to ask,
Yes.
what words of wisdom or pieces of advice would you give to anyone who's aspiring to pursue a career in performing arts?
Oh, wow. You know what? It sounds kind of cliche because everybody says, don't give up and, keep trying, but it's absolutely true.
Yes.
You're going to hit so many different, possibly like low points where you have to keep practicing or studying, or you meet negative people where they say this won't happen or this won't work. But I have noticed, and I have a lot of friends that are in entertainment, they never gave up. To this day, I don't give up. and it really truly works and will pay off in the end. If you believe in yourself, you can truly make it happen.
Quitting is not an option.
It is not an option. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Raushan Hammond.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure having you in Vegas Vibes, and I wish you continued success in all your current and future endeavors.
Thank you so
Take care.
much. Thank you.
You took the part of that bone so was on my heart. I wanna take all of me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna do something very special. You know I do a little bit of magic, so watch this. Here we go. Thank you very much. That wasn't a magic trick. I got a little thirsty.
I would like to thank my wardrobe sponsor, Anne Fontaine. Anne Fontaine is located at the Forum Shops in Caesars Palace. Thank you so much, Miss Anna Billings. Catch me again next time as I feature another amazing personality here on Vegas Vibes. But don't go away, folks, because Vegas Vibes will be right back. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode as much as I did sharing the vibes of Vegas. And time really flies when you're having a grand time. Don't fail to join me again next week on this same fabulous ACTV channel. And to all our global viewers out there, let me be candid with you. Las Vegas is not just about the world-renowned Strip or the famous Fremont Street experience in the burgeoning downtown district. It has real people, a lot of them musicians, live entertainers, and those involved in the world of pageantry. And to the people here in the Valley who work hard each day to make Las Vegas a global brand, and to these ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things to the community, and to these unsung everyday heroes, you are the ones I would like to feature right here on Vegas Vibes, either on the ACTV studios or at your workplace. If you believe that's you, please email me at esmeralda@actvlv.com. I'm your host, Esmeralda Padilla-Gould. Thanks for watching!
You know, we've had some wonderful adventures at the Las Vegas Natural History Museum
Yeah, we've discovered dinosaurs.
and saw strange creatures from deep oceans.
We've explored the safari in Africa. What do you think we'll discover next?
Welcome.
What do you see? What do you see?
Things, wonderful things.
You too can discover wonderful things at the Las Vegas Natural History Museum. Explore treasures of Egypt, a trip to King Tut's tomb, and recreations of some of Egypt's best-known artifacts.
This has been a presentation of VATV.